This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Joining us today is Tony Hamilton, the CEO of Georgina Energy, who will be IPOing fairly soon onto the London Stock Exchange. Welcome back. Tony, how are you doing?
Great, thanks, Mark.
Well, thank you for joining us again. I know we've spoken before. We've talked a bit about the company, what you want to do. But let me first of all ask you, where are you, or is the company on the route to getting onto the main market?
So we're at a fairly advanced stage. We are trying to finalise a raising of £5 million.
Okay, and how is that raise going so far? Then what interest have you seen?
We've seen a very, very strong retail interest, as well as family offices and high net worths. And that's backed up by the fact that even though, there's difficult circumstances in the global financial markets, the level of interest in the helium, hydrogen, natural gas segment remains very, very robust.
Good. Well, that's good to hear. Do you have an idea of a timeline of when you'd like to be actually listed?
So our aim, in spite of the various delays that we've been suffering, and none through our own doing, but more a case of banking crisis, wars, market, COVID, a variety of things, but primarily our plan, which was revised from an original plan, is that we'll raise £5 million. We're hoping to close that by the end of April.
Okay.
That £5 million will then provide us with enough capital to bring Hussar, the gas, to the wellhead so that we have a production profile for our offtake, which we're in the process of finalising an agreement. So pretty much from when we close the financing, so I would say we'll be listing in sometime in May, that 12 months from that date, we will be in a production phase.
Okay, well, that's very good to hear. So once you've listed, then you've got that capital, you're able to go re-tap the wellhead and effectively get into production. The money, the funding you will raise on IPO will take you all the way through to proving up the resource and getting into production.
Correct. So that'll essentially allow us to bring the gas to the wellhead, which, if for a reminder of everybody, our primary objective is to bring the gas to the wellhead and then allow the off-taker to basically take the gas and pay us at the wellhead, and thus eliminate the significant capital costs involved for a junior production company like Georgina. What I'll say to you is this, Mark, that clearly from our perspective, what's very for the market to understand is that the £5 million will carry us for 12 months, so there'll be no need for us to come back to market to develop Hussar into a production profile.
I guess at this stage, you're not able to give an idea of the valuation or the market cap of the company on listing, are you?
No, I'm not. And I think, as I said, ultimately the market will decide. But there was a very interesting announcement today in Australia on the ASX by a company called Central Petroleum. I think their code is CTP. And they announced a farming agreement with a company called Peak Helium. And Peak are essentially investing £6 million in 2 wells for a 51 and 56% interest, respectively. So when you compare that to Georgina, we have a pretty compelling investment opportunity. In retrospect, you look at us, we're 303 BCFG of helium. The recently announced joint venture is 44.8 BCF of helium. In the terms of hydrogen, we're still at 308. The announcement today, they're 56.7 of hydrogen. And in terms of natural gas, we're sitting at just 2.95 TCF. and these guys are talking about 272 BCFG. Now, £6 million for that, basically just over 50% interest, means that we have a pretty significant upside value when you look at the comparative resources and essentially what they're spending. They're talking about spending £6 million on 2 wells, and they're not production ready.
Well, thank you for that, for drawing investors' attention to that. Central Petroleum then listed over on the ASX. It's good to get some comparators. I know we've talked about the comparison to Helium 1 in the past as well. So it's good for investors to get a bit of an idea about the other operators out there. And we have, of course, talked in previous interviews and podcasts about the demand for helium and hydrogen. So thank you very much. Hopefully everything goes well. We're nearly at the end of, well, we're over halfway through April now. So hopefully that financing closes as planned and we can catch up again when you've IPO'd onto the main market.
Absolutely. We look forward to successfully concluding it. And obviously, the other key element is that Georgina is an operating company. Mm-hmm. So we continue to operate during this period anyway, develop the assets that we have.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time today. Tony Hamilton, the CEO of Georgina Energy.
Thank you very much, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.